CU Citizens for Peace and Justice are calling for the resignation of Champaign Police Chief R.T. Finney, the dropping of all the charges against the other youth, a rewrite of the use of force policy, independent police review board with subpoena power, no tasers, protecting freedom of rights of movement, which have become a means of harassing people in the North End. And then in addition, we are calling, as Carol said, for a Department of Justice investigation that would be independent and a special prosecutor.
Anybody else? I think everybody has been provided with copies of the statements and the emails that were sent out. If some of the other members of the press who do not have copies of those, we can provide them for you. Thank you for coming, and we are alerted that the state's attorney and will be releasing her report tomorrow now.
We are told that it'll be
tomorrow morning at the City Council chambers, probably between 9 and 10 a.m. All right, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
I should say, for the officers. And I don't think the students should be punished. I really don't think they should have a soft lockdown, and the students should not be punished for what the officers did not do professionally.
Do you expect any type of violence as a result?
I don't think any type of violence, you know, not far as my family behalf or whatever. I mean, yes, we do want peace, but the thing about it is, if it does be, and that's because of the corrupt system, and basically what we're reaching out to do is to get justice. All we want is justice for what they done. And if you get justice and we have a fair shake, I don't think it'll be any violence whatsoever. We just ask for justice and to be treated equally and fair like anyone else. They took my unarmed nephew's life, and I think that they should be punished for it. I really do. I think they should be criminally charged like the next individual. You're welcome.
Probably longer.
Yeah. Some people are saying this is the state's attorney's job, that this is what she's supposed to be doing. What do you say to that? That this is a part of her job to be involved in the investigation and to be doing what she's doing right now. So how do you respond to that?
I think that the understanding to me is that there were 3 investigations taking place. The state police investigation to find out what happened, to compile all the evidence and the information, to turn over to the state's attorney, and then she would do her investigation to find out if any criminal acts had taken place. And then the Champaign Police Department, after those 2 were complete, would do their own investigation to see if policies and procedures were violated, if there would be any disciplinary things. So my understanding is that the state's attorney should only be involved in her investigation, not in the other 2 investigations.
And the emails show that she's been involved in
And the emails show that she's getting information from Deborah Finan, who's a city council member, sending her emails that say, quote, heads up, this is coming, about conflicts of interest. Return emails from Julia Reed saying, call me on my cell phone and I'll give you more information about something that's redacted. You see Marcy Dodds sending Julia Reed's email saying, hey, I went over to interview the ladies at the Ice House over there and they told me this, so I thought I'd send you the information. And by the way, it was great seeing you last Sunday. So we find that these relationships are very troubling, and they show that there's work behind the scenes and what I refer to as collusion that sends the message to us that this is a foregone conclusion about what's going to be released tomorrow, that these officers will be found, this will be a justifiable homicide. Oh yeah,
that you were able to get a hold of?
Oh yes, definitely. There was a total of 400 pages. So many of them were somewhat redundant, but we found quite a few of them rather disturbing, such as those that we've just shared with you about, especially the communications between the council members and Steve Carter. There was some conversation about the purpose of Senator Meeks coming to town. There was conversation about just giving Julia Reeds forewarning of what's happening, and we find that very disturbing because the City Council, the Champaign City Council, as Tom Bruno has alluded to on many occasions, is the review board of the Champaign Police Department. So we find it very disturbing that members of the City Council would be sending information to Julia Reeds, who's criminally investigating 2 of the officers. We find that very disturbing and unacceptable.
Because the email about the Ice House basically said you haven't talked to them, and she indicated she would, or
right. Well, it indicates that that there was possible couple witnesses that need to be interviewed, and we just find it very strange that a council member would be out becoming an investigator of some sorts and then relaying that message and that information to the state's attorney. We don't see the relationship there. We don't understand. I think that's a conflict of interest.
Improper.
It was certainly improper. Certainly an improper relationship. And these are these repeated things on top of Norbert's coming back to work that show us that this is a foregone conclusion, that they've already made the determination. And to find out from the state police today that the city of Champaign and the Champaign Police Department already have the report and have had it for quite some time shows that they have been withholding truthful information from the public for a long time.
I'm not saying that it doesn't. That's what the emails you're intending to prove with the ones you sent to us.
No, we received information from Mike Atkinson today at the state police.
Okay.
He said to us unequivocally, the state police provided the state's attorney and the city of Champaign Police Department with the report, with the state police report. So they got it the same day that Julia Reitz got it. And they have been telling us all along that they do not have it.
And you also said up there, but you didn't, but the relationships between state police and Champaign law enforcement, they're too tight.
I think what you're speaking to is the multi-jurisdictional component, which is,
right.
You know, we have Urbana police officers, Rantoul police officers. Officer Norberts lives in Rantoul. And we know officers hang out with officers, like reporters hang out with reporters. Right? So we know that this is something that is disturbing to us, that friends are investigating friends. That's why we're asking for a federal investigation from the criminal investigation wing of the Department of Justice to come in and not only take this case, but to review and to investigate the Champaign County State's Attorney's Office as well as the Champaign Police Department policies and procedures and their behaviors and past practices.
Have you contacted them or anything?
We are in contact with the Department of Justice and also with the National NAACP, various different organizations to bring in to push for a federal investigation into this matter and to other matters as well.
Is that tomorrow morning between 9 and 10?
My understanding is that there's a meeting that's going to take place at about 9, and then the report should be released around that time. So I would say between 9 and 10 a.m. at the Champaign City Council chambers.
Okay.
Thanks.